Hello, Aries. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using Legacy of the Divine Tarot by Cyril Marchetti. Website at the bottom is llewellyn.com. I think if you magnify it, you'll see it, or if you freeze frame. Supportive Oracle cards. Chakra Wisdom Oracle cards by Tori Hartman, illustrated by Gretchen Raish Baskin. Websites are torihartman.com, watkinspublishing.co.uk, or watkinspublishing.com. Feel free to freeze frame on that if you need it, of course. What do we have for Aries? Okay. Something you very much want. That's an interesting, okay. Let me get these cards down before. Yeah, okay. This doesn't have to be romance. I'm going to say that before I go too far, but there is a bit of something. It doesn't have to be romance. Could be anything else that kind of fits like something you very much want. But whatever it is, it's been stuck for the longest time. It's just, whatever the subject is, I feel like if I look at it, I'm looking at like this hasn't gone anywhere in a while. So maybe you're in a job, and you're like, maybe there's advancements you want, or maybe you're looking for a different job. Maybe there's something else you do. Maybe there's some type of home improvement thing you're doing that's just not moving forward. It could be romance. If it is romance, it goes a few different ways, whether you're with somebody or not. This romance is either stagnant and hasn't been doing anything. It's just kind of like it's there, but just technically. Or maybe you're single. If it's going down that. And I feel like you know if it's that. Because it's something you think about, but nothing really seems to happen. Okay. Now, you're very self-sufficient. And if you don't want anybody around you, no matter what context this is, nothing happens. So if you don't want something, nothing's coming your way because you're not gonna take something you don't want. But the question is, have you been blocking something? Because I get isolation to the Ace of Cups, which doesn't have to be romance, but whatever it is, whether it's a job, whatever it may be, you want it, but it's kind of like It's kind of like starting a new book. It's kind of like, I feel like maybe you're the type that has to get into like 2 chapters before you know if you really like it or not. It's kind of like I don't want to go to the library and like read 40 books and then find out that I really didn't like any of them anyway. It's kind of how I'm feeling. So whatever it is, it's kind of like I've been very reluctant to move forward, even though I actually want to. Selective, but kind of like holding back questionably, like just kind of like not looking to go forward. And if you don't want them to go forward, nothing's going to happen. Can we kind of like, can I get a little bit more on that? Because I feel like there's something a little off with that. Moving slowly, Knight of Pentacles. It just seems like things take a lot of effort, and they don't. It seems like if it's really going to work out, I have to like pull it together. I have to give people a chance, whatever it is, whatever context. And it's kind of, I don't know, I feel like it's draining. Something like that. You have a lot of possibilities, but it's kind of like, it's not like there's no possibilities. It's just kind of like going through all these things to find out what's real seems like a chore in itself. And I don't feel like I hold interest long enough to do it. Okay, so we've gone on that for a while. This Nine of Swords is kind of backing that up, by the way. It seems to be like there's stress here. It's not that I don't want whatever it is. It's just kind of like, oh my God, it's such a chore. That's what it feels like. So like if you were going to invest in a house or a property, maybe you want one, but you're like, I have to go find the right one. I have to get the financing for it. Then I have to like keep up with it. I want it if it works right, but I'm like, if you're going to buy a house, in my opinion, it's kind of like, it's not just going to be any old thing. I have to go looking, I have to decide what I want, then I have to get the funding, and then I have to make sure it fits in with everything else in my life. Why is there something? There must be something I'm missing. like, what am I missing? Because I want to go forward. This is good, a lot of good energy coming in, but like, how do we get there? Yeah, because you have to decide when you want it. It'll be worth it when you've decided you want it. Because when you've decided you're going to get something, that's when it comes together. And I feel like maybe that's where this reading is actually starting, even though I'm tripping over my face trying to get there. If whatever this subject is where it's been stale for the longest time, if you want that to change, once you've decided it will change, it's kind of like you can't decide, I'd like it to change, or that'd be nice. It can't be like that. It's kind of like, all right, now it's going to change. That's how Aries works. Like, you've made a decision, okay, then let's do it. So are you ready to do it? Because something is there. Something is there. And I feel like we got to let people be people, whatever the context is, be it work, romance, some type of other vocation, whatever it is, buying property. We gotta look at things more realistically. Perfect is a construct. I mean, is it not? It's how you relate to it. And whatever this is, it's kind of like you have to look at this in the sense of, if you want long-term success anyway, I'm going to go there. Not only what do you get from it, but what do you give to it? And how does that match up? This is definitely something coming forward. The more you give, the more you get. It's a balance like that. Because something is coming forward with a balance. The more you give, the more you get. It's giving me hiccups. And I feel like you know how this works. And I feel like, yeah, okay. It's kind of like looking back and maybe whatever the context is of this subject, I feel like I've given more than I've ever gotten. But the thing is, the next situation coming forward doesn't know that. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you're not going to pay for somebody else's shortcomings, and nobody else is going to pay for whatever somebody did to you. So let's keep that in mind. Just keep in mind. Because there's this moment where it's kind of like we got to match energy. We got to put in what we want to get out. Because this situation does balance like that. Whatever it is. I get the Knight of Cups. See, I got a lot of interesting energy. Where it started tripping off, just to be fair, was the Ten of Pentacles, if it is romance, because I saw those two tulips, and for some reason it really, the red, the pinkish color there, I just kept thinking of it. I was like, that looks kind of like romance to me. It doesn't have to be. But if you're coming into that, or whatever context it is, I hate to be the one who keeps bringing in the subject, but I feel like for a lot of you it might be. The person you're coming forward to is very self-sufficient. Also, job-wise, it's going to be the same thing. They're going to expect something from you to give, and then you have to, you're expecting what you want. What are you going to get? What are you going to give to get what you want back? There's definitely, like, this person is paying attention. And they're looking, whoever you're dealing with, business, romance, whatever it may be, they're looking to see long-term, does this balance? I don't think this person, no matter what context, they don't want a surplus. That may seem odd. Even if it's business or whatever it is, they do not want a surplus on their side. I feel like whoever this is, business, romance, whatever it is, has experienced a surplus on their side, and it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. It just things go out of balance, and once things are out of balance, they never correct. They're looking for, like, you do your half, I do my half, we stay even. If one side has more than the other, it will not balance. It will not work. Sooner or later, it will fall apart. They don't want a surplus. They don't want a deficit. They want equal. They want to just hold it where it's supposed to be and make it work long term, whatever this is. What is okay? I got these 3 cards coming in. I think they're good. We got to get through the barriers. We got to be very authentic. Aries can be very authentic. It's just kind of like, sometimes Aries puts up walls and you just don't talk about certain things. I've known a few Aries that, like, they're very, when they're going to talk about something, boom, it's right there. But if they're not going to, then they're not going to. And I feel like with an Aries, if you ask them something that they're not willing to answer, they'll tell you flat out, that's not a subject we're going to talk about. They're just like, that's off limits. or they'll just walk away or change the subject, depending on the circumstances. Like in a work situation, sometimes you need a little bit more finesse. But breaking down walls, I feel like there's something with walls here. If you have walls, they have walls. If you bring down your walls, they bring down their walls. I feel like it becomes, if you start taking down your walls, say you bring down one wall, they're going to bring down two and wait to see if you bring down another. And then I feel like you'll do that. I feel like you're kind of like, yeah, I feel like whatever this is, I got to let go of things from the past, from other people, be it business or otherwise. Is there something else I'm missing with that? Because I feel like this is a moment that could turn into a great healing moment. We got to make sure we don't become stagnant, and things could happen quite fast. So it's like you got a choice. You are fire. I mean, come on. And I do think of this for Aries. You can tell me if I'm wrong. You're either in and you're in all the way, or you're out and completely forget it. If you do the middle ground where I try to like dicker back and forth a little bit, you know, if I try to like just do a little bit and come back and a little, like if I try to do halfway, I feel like Aries, that's a recipe of failure. Like I feel like that doesn't work for Aries. It does work for some other signs, but if you really connect to the Aries energy, if you try to do midway, I just feel like you might as well just stay out, because it just seems like it fails. It just doesn't work. I don't know what to say. Tell me in the comments if I'm wrong. You're either in and you're all in, or you're out and forget it. If you do the halfway thing, I've seen some do it, and it just seems like it comes off really messed up. You might as well just be out. So when you get to this point where bringing down the walls, I feel like just bring down the walls. If you're going to bring them down, just bring them down, because if you start bringing down like one wall, the best I can think of is like maybe you test the waters and you bring up a subject and you just see how they react with that. And then when they bring down two walls, then you just kind of like, well, here it is. This is it. This is the whole thing. This is the enchilada, the whole enchilada. It might kind of like blow them away, but they'll keep up. Because I feel like you got to be your authentic you. If you try to do like, all right, I'll bring down one, you bring down two, I'll bring down two, you bring down two, I just don't think it's going to work. I just don't. I feel like you might do a test subject, see what they do with it. They bring down two walls. You're like, well, here's the whole thing. This is just what it is. This is just what it is. So the question is, when you get involved with this, are you willing to go that far with this situation? Because I'm getting long term. If you're not, it's gonna fail. I hate to say it that way, because it's like Aries is in or out. I just feel halfway fails anyway with Aries. Now, I know not all signs are that way, but that's what I got. All right, I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you again for watching, and have a great day.